Hello, my name is Steve Weeks, and I am the chair of the Department of Biology. Thanks for coming to our presentation on the biology programs at the University of Akron. Today, it's going to be myself and Ashley Renna, who is our pre-health advisor, we're going to split our presentation today. So let me just start by telling you that biology is one of the biggest departments at the University of Akron. We have 650 approximately undergrad students and about 50 grad students, mostly PhD students. We have a strong connection to the Honors College. We have lots of honors students in biology, doing lots of honors projects in our department. We in biology think that biology is a hands-on discipline. So we emphasize lab-based coursework. So as you can see in this picture right here, this is one of our human anatomy labs. We in University of Akron Biology Department can consider that biology needs to be taught in a hands-on way. So we have a very large proportion of our classes are lab-based. A number of universities have been getting rid of lab-based courses because they're more expensive, but at Akron, we really maintain our lab-based coursework. So there's a human anatomy for majors, working with cadavers. We have lots of lab-based genetics classes, and et cetera. And we have maintained those courses because we really do believe in the hands-on nature of biology. Given that, we also emphasize that students do other kinds of experiential opportunities, such as internships, and we have internship connections to our local hospitals. We have 3 local hospitals that are within walking distance of Akron campus, including Cleveland Clinic affiliated hospital that allows you to do internships and job shadowing. And we also emphasize doing research with faculty and grad students in our own labs. And I'll talk more about our tiered mentoring program in a minute. So we really believe that biology needs to be more hands-on, and so we emphasize those kinds of experiences. On that same line, we have a field station. We're one of the only universities in the region have an active field station. It's at Bath, and if you're not familiar with Bath, that is about 20 minutes outside downtown Akron, and we have a 400-acre nature preserve out there that has a field station on it. And we do lab courses out there, and then also research out at that field station. So that's another great opportunity when you come to the University of Akron if you're interested in that kind of stuff. But our biggest asset is here. That's our faculty. So we have 20 research-oriented faculty. You can see here. They all are coming from R1 universities, have postdoc training. They bring in about $1 million a year in research funding for their labs. They do a whole range of kinds of research, and I'll talk about a couple of them because we don't really have time to go over each and every one of them. But they do have cutting edge research techniques that they bring to their labs and also to our coursework. And that's one of the best things about having research oriented people who are teaching you, because biology is one of the fastest moving disciplines in sciences. And so to keep up with that, you need research oriented faculty that can kind of track that kind of change. So again, I would love to be able to talk about each one of these guys, but instead I'll just have to pick a couple. So Dr. Renna is one of our most sought after teachers. He is a neuroscientist. He is interested in the development of the retina and how the eye interacts with the brain. And his lab actually discovered a new type of retinal cell in mammals that can allow mammals to know the time of day. So that was discovered in his lab. He gets money from the National Institutes of Health. He's got a big research lab. He's got lots of grad students, and he incorporates lots of undergrads into his research. He teaches our various neuroscience classes like neuroscience and health and disease, research techniques in neuroscience, and is one of our most popular teachers. Our most famous faculty members is Dr. Hazel Barton. She's a microbiologist. She does a range of microbiology, but she's most famous for cave microbiology. And you can see some of the pictures here. She was actually one of the featured cave researchers in an IMAX movie, but she's been featured on a lot of different programs and in different formats. And one of her most famous research findings was that bacteria in caves that haven't seen the surface for millions and millions of years, in fact, before humans were on the planet, have already in them antibiotic resistance, which was not thought to be the case because many people thought that antibiotic resistance formed after antibiotics were developed. But she actually, in her lab, found that there's a bunch of bacteria in caves that already have antibiotic resistance, which was interesting. She has the most research funding for any of our faculty, has a really big lab, lots of grad students, and lots of undergrads that work in her lab. And she teaches our various microbiology courses. And again, I'd love to be able to go through each one of these folks, but we don't have the time. Suffice it to say, though, that these are excellent faculty, and one of the best things about coming to the University of Akron is, unlike some of the R1 institutions that's very heavily research oriented, where those faculty basically do not come into contact with undergrads. They just teach grad students. At the University of Akron, each one of these people pictured here will be in the classroom with you, teaching you biology. And that is an excellent reason to come to the University of Akron. They have a research orientation, but they also are in contact with students, both in their own labs, but also in the classroom, which is great. This is what you want. Telling you more about the ability to get into the research labs, we have a program called tiered mentoring. And tiered mentoring is a program to get you into research labs early in your time at the University of Akron. So we aim this program at freshmen and sophomores. We ask that you come in for a 2-year research opportunity in a lab, and it's called tiered mentoring because the first year you are the newbie, you're the person who is trained by other students, and then you learn the ropes. And then in your second year, you train the new people. You are the mentor to the new people coming in. And this gives you an opportunity to work with faculty and grad students doing hands-on research, primary research, as you can see in these pictures here. So if you go to our main webpage, you would look at the tiered mentoring site and you would see that we have these opportunities every semester. We didn't unfortunately have them last semester because of the coronavirus, but the last time we had it then was in fall. And this is the set of opportunities that were available in fall. And you can see there are about a dozen projects in fall, ranging from microbiology all the way up to ecology of white-tailed deer. And what you do is you go onto this web page, you look through the different options and then see which ones would be interesting to you, and then you would apply. So if you look down here, let's say the fourth one, evaluating post-mortem changes to human bone microstructure in the Andernowski lab, you would click on that and you would see this. This is Dr. Andernowski. She is our forensic scientist, and she looks at bone microstructure, and she tries to learn what you can find out about the life of the person on the basis of their bone remains. And she has a great lab. You can see her. She's the second one from the right. And she's got 2 grad students and an undergrad. She has lots of grad students and undergrads in her lab. And this was one of the projects that she was advertising for tiered mentoring. So this is a great program because it facilitates you getting into research labs. If you were to go to another university, you would just have to do kind of cold calling to try to find out if someone needed somebody. You know that people want someone in their lab by getting into this program. And again, we emphasize you working in things outside the classroom, like these kinds of research opportunities. It gives you better experience. It gets you something on your resume that would help you to get into a professional school like medical school or to go to grad school. And it really gives you contact with the faculty at a much more intimate level that allows you to have really good letters of recommendation to go on to other biology careers. So it's an excellent opportunity that you really only have at the University of Akron. So in our department for our undergrad degrees, our bachelor's degrees, we have two bachelor's programs. One is general biology and one is biomedical science. So if you are not 100% sure of what you want to do in biology, but you know you like biology, the general biology degree is definitely the one you want to take. It is the broader program. It allows you to have any career in biology, including medical careers. And so that would be the one that is most popular for individuals who don't want to do healthcare or not 100% sure what you want to do. The biomedical science degree is the degree for those of you who are specifically interested in healthcare. It is a degree that sets you up to do well in medical school or dental school, professional school, and set you up to do well on the standardized tests like MCAT. To get into medical school or to dental school. So the biomedical science is specifically for healthcare folks, and that's a better one if you're interested. If you know that you're interested in healthcare, biology is the broader one for careers outside of healthcare, or if you're not 100% sure what you want to do. So one of the most common questions we get is, what can you do with a degree in biology? And there's a whole range of jobs. In fact, biology is the fastest growing area of the sciences. And many people have said that our century is the century of biology. And one of the fastest growing areas is in fact the healthcare area. So that's our most popular. So biomedical and pharmaceutical science, these are the careers that people will go on to after they get their degree at the biology department. And it is one of the fastest growing areas in the future for jobs, the predicted job growth. But there's lots of other jobs that you can also get. Another fast growing area is biotechnology. Biotechnology and molecular biology are closely related to each other. So this would be for doing things like modifying cell DNA structure using a process like CRISPR, if you've heard of CRISPR. So you engineer cells or whole organisms, in fact, to do things that are beneficial for humans. So biotechnology, molecular biology is also a very good growth area for careers in biology. One of the fastest growing areas you may never have heard of is something called bioinformatics. This is the marriage of computer science with biology, and particularly with genetics. So if you've ever heard of 23andMe, that's a way of getting whole genome sequencing of your DNA. And there's lots of these kinds of methods of getting that kind of information. And a bioinformatics person then takes that information and tries to make sense of it. And so it is one of the fastest growing areas because the genetics area has advanced so rapidly. There's lots of really good jobs out there for someone who is a bioinformaticist. I am an ecologist, and if you're interested in ecology and environmental studies, there's lots of jobs out there. Most of those jobs are in government, so EPA, USDA, things like that. But there's also private industry, environmental impact companies, like a local one is called EnviroScience, which would go out and assess the environment and the impact that companies have on our environment. So there's a fair few jobs in that. And then interdisciplinary studies would be the marriage of biology with some other discipline. So bioinformatics is like one of those, or marriage of biology and engineering, or biology and chemistry, and things like that. At the University of Akron, we have one of the few job areas, well, growth areas in the country for biomimicry. And this is a program that biomimicry basically takes information from nature and uses it for human benefit. And the most well-known of these examples would be Velcro. So a scientist tried to figure out why burrs would hook onto your clothes, looked at the microstructure of these burrs, and found little hooks. And then they came up with Velcro using that mimic of these burrs. So there's lots of examples of biomimicry out there, and this is a fast growing area for jobs, particularly in Northeast Ohio. Biomimicry is growing quite quickly. So that would be another area that you could study. In fact, we have one of the few biomimicry programs in the entire world, actually, here at the University of Akron. So that is my part, and I am going to hand this over to Ashley, who will talk about the pre-professional programs.
My name is Ashley Renna, and I am the pre-health advisor here at the University of Akron. And so that means that I work with all of our pre-students, our pre-dental, pre-pharmacy, pre-med, pre-optometry, pre-PA, all of those pre-areas. Let's see if I can get this to, there we go. So there you can see all those different areas that I advise for. I'm also the coordinator for our partnership programs. We have two. Our largest and oldest standing partnership is with Northeast Ohio Medical University, or Neomed for short. They're located in Rootstown, which is about 20 minutes from our campus, so we're very close by. We have partnerships with Neomed's medical school and their pharmacy school. We've been sending students to Neomed through partnership for right around 40 years. I thought it was around 30, but then I looked it up not so long ago and realized it was a bit longer than that. So we've been preparing students and sending students to med school, and specifically to Neomed for quite some time. So we know how to prepare students for medical school at the University of Akron. Our second partnership is with Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine, or LECOM for short. Their main campus is located in Erie, PA, but they do have satellite campuses in Seton Hill, Pennsylvania, Bradenton, Florida, and they have a brand new campus in Buffalo, New York. So we have partnerships with their medical school and their pharmacy school, as well as their dental school. So we have a number of partnerships for our UA students, but the partnership that I want to talk with you about today is the Neomed Early Assurance Program, or EAP for short. I have information about all of the partnerships on my website, which I will share with everyone. I believe Dr. Weeks and I are going to send all of you an email with links to our various information that we've shared today. So you can check out the specifics on all those individual partnerships. But I want to talk with you about the Neomed EAP program, since it is our largest program, our most popular program. So this partnership is hands down your best chance for admission to medical school. It provides a distinct advantage for our UA students in the application and acceptance process to medical school. So how does it work? Students come to UA, they spend their first year pursuing their biomedical science curriculum or biology curriculum, whichever it is that you choose, doing the normal first year stuff, taking your biologies, taking your chemistries, working on your pre-med prereqs, doing all the regular normal stuff that you would do. And then in your second year at UA, if you meet the application guidelines, you could be eligible to apply. And so those are if you are a US citizen or permanent resident, if you've earned a overall GPA of a 3.4, as well as a 3.4 in your science coursework, and you have a ACT minimum of 26 or SAT equivalent, or you're enrolled in our Williams Honors College. So if you have those criteria, you've met the minimums for the application. What would create a competitive application would be if, in addition to those, you have some experiences. So you could participate in the tiered mentoring or research with our faculty that Dr. Weeks had mentioned. That would be fantastic for your resume. You could get involved in shadowing and volunteering, things that some of you may already be doing now. So I would encourage you to continue doing those things. And then once you come to UA, continue doing them even more. You want to build the strongest application possible. But if you have those application guidelines with some experiences, and you apply in your second year at UA, and you're admitted to the Neomed EAP program, Neomed's going to hold a seat for you in their medical school. So as early as your sophomore year, Neomed might hold a seat for you in their medical school. That's a big deal. So what do they require of you? So if they hold that seat for you, that's because they believe that you're a good fit for their medical school. And so what they're going to require of you is to maintain that 3.4 GPA, to finish your bachelor's degree, to complete your med school prereqs, to take your MCAT, all things you would do anyways as a pre-med student. And if you do those things and you meet their minimums, then you will move on to their medical school without any additional interview or review. You'll simply finish up your degree and then move on to med school. This is the advantage for our UA students in this EAP program, in that if Neomed admits you through this pathway, they have set guidelines for you. They have set those matriculation requirements that you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, that GPA requirement and that 500 MCAT requirement. So you know when you're in this program exactly what you need to earn to move on to med school, exactly what you need to achieve. Now, a lot of our students far surpass those minimums that you see on the screen, but that is a distinct advantage for applying for medical school, in knowing exactly what you need to earn to move on. When we're talking about the national application, it's extremely competitive, and there is no set MCAT or GPA that you know will secure your seat in med school, because it's extremely competitive and you're applying against thousands of other applicants. But through this pathway with Neomed and our EAP program, you know exactly what you need to do. So if you achieve those things, you simply move on to their medical school and start your medical career. Now, in addition to the partnership programs, which are a distinct advantage for UA students and fantastic, we have lots of resources and opportunities within our campus and our local community. And so this is one that I want to point out. It's our pre-med learning community. So a learning community is where you and a group of students with a shared interest. So for this one, it's pre-med. So it would be you and other pre-med students who are taking the same set of classes in your first semester at UA. You would take a section of biology, a section of chemistry, with the associated labs. You would also get to take our healthcare and delivery systems class, which is essentially an introduction to pre-med, where we kind of lay out for you what's necessary to become a competitive applicant, and how to best go about those things. We bring in UA alums who are in med school and can tell you about their experience at UA, as well as their application experience, their MCAT preparation, and just share any general advice they have. So you would take all of these classes together with a group of pre-med students, so that it's easy for you to meet your pre-med peers and build a support network in that first semester. Easy way to establish study groups, because again, you're taking all the same sections of lecture and lab, and you have the same schedule, so you have the same breaks. It makes it easy to, form a study group on a Wednesday morning for this example. But it's a great way to meet your pre-med peers and build a support network, and students really enjoy it. And so this would be an opportunity for you if you come to UA the fall of your freshman year. Now, if you aren't a pre-med student and you're wondering, well, how do I develop a support network? How do I have a similar experience? Well, the University of Akron has tons of student groups with lots of opportunities for you to get involved. So all of those pre-health areas that I mentioned in the beginning, we have student groups dedicated to all of those. So if you are a pre-PA student, we have a pre-PA club. We have a pre-pharmacy club, a pre-vet club, a pre-dental club. We have a club for each one of those areas where you can meet your peers, you can get mentorship, you can get involved in the community. And then here on the screen, what you see is over on the left, you've got our pre-dental club who's doing a visit to a dental lab. I know they visit a lab each year. And then over on the right, you have Phi Delta Epsilon, which is our pre-med group, and they're doing a suture clinic. So they do fun things, as well as providing that mentorship and that support system, and going out into our local community and giving back. So great ways for you to find your group, find your peers, and have that support early on when you come to UA. And we have lots of other student groups with different focuses. So if you are interested in Dr. Andernowski's research in anatomy, we do have an anatomy club. Or if you are interested in Dr. Renna's research in neuroscience, we also have a neuroscience club. So both of those groups are very popular with our pre-health students. So lots of ways for you to get involved and build that support network from the very beginning when you come to UA. In addition to student groups and clubs, we have opportunities for experiential learning. So experiential learning, similar to research in that you get to apply what you learn in the classroom in a real world setting. And so some of the things that our students have got involved with, over on the left-hand side of your screen, you have some students in that top photo, and over on the bottom on the left as well. Those are students who are in our certificate in Spanish for the health professions. So in addition to taking coursework like medical terminology in Spanish, they also get involved in our local community. So over on the left, that top photo, you have students in white coats, and those are Neomed students. But the students who are with them are students from our certificate program who are helping to translate at a Hispanic Health Fair Day. And then down at the bottom, you have some UA students who are volunteering at the Hurtville Migrant Clinic. So they are doing some translation, they are volunteering, and they're also getting the opportunity to shadow those healthcare professionals in that setting. So a really fulfilling and enriching experience for our students. And then over on the right, you have our area health education scholars. So all of those scholars had to apply and be accepted. But with their acceptance, they did receive a stipend. So they have some money to pay for books and some other things. And in exchange for that, they build health education seminars for our Akron community. So they go into the community and they identify what the needs are. They build health programming around that and then give those seminars and workshops in our local community. So they're building their resume, as well as getting exposure to patient populations and giving back to the greater Akron community. At UA, we're lucky, and our pre-health students are lucky, because we're conveniently located near several big hospital systems and clinics. So there are plenty of opportunities for students who want to get involved. It never ceases to amaze me, all of the things that our pre-health students are involved with, and doing in our campus community and in our local community. So if you're looking to go somewhere where you can get involved, you can do research, you can be of service to the local community, as well as build a community within the campus, there are endless opportunities at UA and within our Akron community for you. There's lots of different ways for you to get involved. And then I have some contact information here for you if you want to reach out to Dr. Weeks or the biology department, as well as my information.